minister as to the way forward. But for me, if you ask me, I'll say for the period that we've had these paperless and other trade facilitations and clearance procedures, we should begin to do some reforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. At this point, I am very convinced that the nominee will find favor with us. So I congratulate you in advance and wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, anyone? Yes, Honorable Samuel Atacha.
Mr. Speaker, and yes, Mr. Speaker and Chairman, thanks for this opportunity. My dear brother, Kofi Ainkrama, congratulations. I have no doubt in my mind that you are very competent to sit in the office that the President has nominated you to go. But I'll just ask one question, and then that'll be it. You see, if you pay regard to Article 79(1), it provides, and I quote, "The President may, in consultation with the Minister of State and with the prior approval of Parliament, appoint one or more deputy ministers to assist the minister in the performance of his functions." So you are supposed to go and assist a substantive minister. So, Honorable Mafo, what if the minister rebuffs your assistance? Do you go and consult with your appointor, the President, or you deal with your substantive minister? Yes. So please do get a drift of my question. Oh, I should repeat it.
Mr. Chairman, I do.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, when the President called me and said he's taking me into the Trade Ministry, he was very clear about it, that we are going to assist your minister. I don't want you to come here and be telling me any story. If you have any issue, deal with your minister. That is what the President told me. And so I am going to assist my minister. So if there's any issue, I will deal with my minister. Thank you.
I think that you want to ask your colleague a question. Very well, let me hear you. If it's not a question, kindly hold on, because we are not done. That's it. Honorable Apiakuwe, are you asking a question? If you are, it's the opportunity. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the opportunity. Kofi, I congratulate you for your appointment. I'm sure that your background and your expertise was in consideration before your appointment, and therefore a trade ministry in charge of trade, industry, investments. You need to collaborate with other ministries, particularly agriculture and even tourism. How would you exploit your background into building this collaboration?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like you rightly said, my minister is also aware of my background. And I know he's going to put me at where he feels strongly that I can function properly. And when he does that, I also discharge my duties as required of me. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Vice Chair.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I'd like to establish 2 points. The first question I want to ask is that if the nominee has a form or has a means of indicating whether Bueni appears on the map of Ghana. Bieni, that's it. I want you to establish if Bieni appears on the map, because I don't seem to know where it is, and I don't know whether it's by the roadside. Bieni, yes. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. If it is my hometown Bieni that you want to know, yes, it is in the map of Ghana. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any town called Bieni. And it is not only called Bieni, we call it Bieni Mranti Krum. And one of the Mranti is sitting just before you. So it is in the map of Ghana. But because I am not too conversant with geography, so I cannot point it to you now, but it is in the map of Ghana. That is where you can find the cocoa extension service, the cocoa seed production unit that takes care of all the cocoa seedlings that is produced for cocoa cultivation in that part of Eastern region. We have only 2, one in Bunso and then one in Bieni. So when we're talking about cocoa in Eastern region, it is Bieni and Bunso. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to also find out, where does your mother live? Is it a Bieni or in Accra or Tema? Thank you.
My mother is a retired midwife. She retired from Tema General Hospital, and she lives in Tema with me and our other family members.
Right. Thank you very much that you are so close to your mother. Anyway, the other issue is about my position as a gender champion. And I'm here, I see on your back your 2 beautiful, pretty daughters. And I see your wife.
How did you know that?
I know. I can, yes, I know. And I want to establish something. In our language, we say, "Apuncheni wa eni yehune tente." Meaning, it is only the death of the frog that you can measure its true length. And I want to find out from you, Honorable, this is a house of record. And for my sister's sake, if I say my sister or my for my daughter's sake, as a gender champion, you have on record that you have only 2 children. To his knowledge. I want you to establish it here. Thank you very much.
Honourable Member, if you want to answer that question, it's up to you. But you're not obliged to answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. in the interest of family values, gender issues, advocacy in gender matters, I will answer the question. Mr. Chairman, I have 2 daughters, and I need to establish this to put my wife at ease. And then to put my Rosalinda's mind at ease. I have 2 daughters, and they are the ones just behind me. It's true. That is a fact. There has been a lot of issues about why do you have only 2 children? You have daughters. Where is son? And I don't know how to create a son. I don't know how to create it. And I was blessed with 2 daughters. And I'm so grateful to the Lord for giving me 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. Yes, it is not only 2 beautiful daughters, but a beautiful wife as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable, thank you very much for affirming the situation for me. But that's one other issue that I'd like to know. You, in your response to some of your questions, you said you advise your minister. Can you advise? How sure are you that your advice will be taken by your minister? How confident are you? I can answer that for you.
Mr. Chairman, my minister is a very hardworking minister. 2, he has a good passion for the ministry that he's handling. 3, he's a very principled person. 4, he has me at heart. And the 5th one is he's a new allergy. There's been a lot of discussions, and I know he holds me in a high esteem, and I really appreciate that. I'm not going to take that for granted. I'll continue to assist him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate my colleague, Honorable Kofi Ahinkra Mafu. Such an affable character, and I pray that you are going to work successfully with my honorable minister. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Now I'll ask you a few more questions, Chairman. Chairman, from your record, you've never worked in the public service apart from being an MP. Is that right?
Yes, MP and the chairman of Metro Mass.
Great. Do you see any difference in your own work, the private sector, and as chairman of the Metro Mass, chairman of the board of the Metro Mass company?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To be very honest with you, I see a lot of difference. You know, where we are coming from, we don't really understand certain things because the rules with the private sector looks a bit different from the public sector. You need to go through certain processes in order to achieve what you have to achieve. But in private sector, no. things must be done right. And, whoever is responsible knows that if he doesn't do what is right, he can be fired there and then. But in the public sector, it is not like that. So there are challenges, especially we coming from the private sector. But we've been managing because that is how the system is. And we only pray and work hard to change the dynamics. Because if we are able to change the public sector dynamics and, infuse the private sector dynamics, this country can go far. There's a lot of things that we can achieve if we do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm interested in that part because my own experience also reflects that. Came from the private sector straight to head a public sector agency, and in many instances I was frustrated. I want something done, I want it done quickly and immediately. And you realize that no, in the public sector it doesn't work that way. You have to go through left, right, center before. Do you find that very frustrating?
Mr. Chairman, it is. And I'm just being very honest. It is very frustrating. But what can you do? You only have to try and improve on it. And it's a collective decision. It's a collective decision that, look, we want to reform our public sector. Even attitude towards work. When do we even come to work? When do we even close? There's nobody to check when you come and when you close. It's very frustrating, Mr. Chairman.
If you had your own way, what will you recommend that be done differently in the public sector to achieve the level of efficiency you think or you get in the private sector?
Mr. Chairman, if I have my way, I recommend a lot of transformation and a lot of reforms. And it should be a positive reformation, both character, attitude, and all that. Because that is the only way that we can drive our economy. So as for reforms in our public sector, it's eminent. It is very key and it's very important. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, let me ask you about the free zones area. Do you know how many companies are currently active in the free zones area?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have it off head, but I believe they are more than hundreds. They are over 100, but I don't have the record of hand.
Do you have any idea how many of the over hundreds are indigenous Ghanaian businesses?
That one too, it will be a bit difficult because you can have, partnership. Some are indigenous, but they have foreign partners. And for us, it is not really about who owns it. But if it is registered as an indigenous entity, we consider it as indigenous and we consider it as a local enterprise. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
From my experience or some information I have, from the very beginning, we appear to have targeted foreign investors. So we hardly had any support system for indigenous Ghanaians wanting to be in the free zones area. I don't know how you can improve that, but I do know that probably the biggest and the major thriving business at the free zones is owned by a Ghanaian. and he practically bought over what we gave to foreigners, so to speak. But if he shares his frustration in getting registered, it shows how little faith or confidence we have in our own colleagues. In fact, from what he tells me, he actually had to go and hire somebody in Dubai to float a company like a Dubai company before he could get access to the free zones. And today he is actually the biggest of all and is operating bigger than all. I'm saying this to give you a heads up that have patience for some Ghanaians if they show interest in that. That is just a comment. Now you are in the trade area. You facilitate clearing of goods. That is your private sector business. Do you think that the Ministry of Trade can do more towards the rural economy? It appears the Ministry of Trade is heavily focused on import and export business and doesn't appear to do much with our rural economies. Do you think the Ministry of Trade can do something more?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is what the feeling that the Trade Ministry is only interested in import and export, and that is not it at all. Because when you talk about Ghana Enterprise Agency, that is an area that I feel personally, I have a feeling, and my feeling is that we are not doing a lot in terms of publicity, because that is the area where the rural setup has a lot to gain, because for them, their focus is the small, medium-scale enterprises. Now we've added micro to it. And even if you look at the concept, you realize that that is the area where even if you are talking about interest rate is very minimal, depending on the financial institution that is in question. So I would say that the focus should be on these SMEs or MSMEs, and we should move into getting these small scale, medium scale enterprises into place. We have a lot of facilities that the Ghana Enterprise Agency is ready to offer. MasterCard is on board with Ghana Enterprise Agency. So it is for us as people, and especially we sitting here as members of parliament, it is our collective responsibility to make sure we tap in what Ghana Enterprises Agency has for us, because they have a lot for us in terms of training, in terms of building capacity, in terms of skills. All these are there for us. So we should be championing the Ghana Enterprises Agency development. We should champion it, we as members of parliament, because we control all these constituencies that can assess this funding. You know, the next one is funding. Yes,
Chairman,
I know.
I'm saying that you're talking about support for small and medium scale. Yes. Excellent. But I go to my constituency, Bekwai. We have a place we call industrial area. There are many active players. They have a trade facilitation office or something close there. But I'm not aware that apart from mechanics who are passing out, who once a while the agency give them tools, I'm not aware that the agency is supporting any of the businesses there. How can the small-time operators at the industrial area at Bekwai access your facilities?
Mr. Chairman, this question is more of a question to the minister or the deputy minister. I will say that we have business resource centers, and I know Bekwai should have either one or two. Yes, Mr. Chairman, it will be empty. It will be empty because they are now doing more of field work than sitting in the office. Because assuming that they've given enough training, skill training, they've given enough funding for these medium and small scale enterprises, it is their collective responsibility to make sure that they monitor, evaluate the work of these enterprises. So you cannot find them in their offices as we want. But I am taking your issue on board. Fortunately, my minister is here. My colleagues, 2 deputies, are also here. And so it will not be difficult for us. And if you give me the opportunity to go to the ministry, I will advise my minister. Thank you.
Very good. I'm happy you've taken it up. My interest really is to guide the local artisans how to access the facilities you make available to them, because I don't see any effort at training people how to access the facilities, the credit facilities, and so on. So I want you to, in fact, they say if you want to talk to God, you talk to you talk to the wind. The God is sitting on my right, but I'm talking to the wind. That we should make sure that those who need it know how to access it. Okay, it's extremely important for developing the base for us, right? Maybe I should be bringing this to a close, but your expertise, I don't even think that because you're trained in alternative dispute resolution, it means that that's your expertise. Your expertise is in trade. You're a businessman. That's fine. But sorry, 1 minute. I have to answer this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While waiting, let me set a few issues right. The biggest cocoa processing company is Ghanaian owned under the free zones, and it is called Plot Industries. There is one in Takoradi, it's also Ghanaian owned. Niche, Edmund Niche is also Ghanaian owned. So the perception of free zones attracting only foreign investment is not the case. And the biggest company in finance under free zones was called E-Processing. E-Process was EcoBank created company. So we also encourage Ghanaian participation under the free zone. Cocoa processing is there, Plot Industries is there, and Niche is also there. They are all Ghanaian owned. Probably Barry Karibo has been the first, and it's probably bigger than what I said. But these are also evidence of Ghanaian participation under the free zones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I would like us to just take a minute for the chairman to round it off. I'm not too sure if he's done with the questions, so we'll just have to hold on in a jiffy. Okay. Right. I'm giving the green light. That we are very grateful to you for giving us very useful information, and I must commend you for your knowledge in the ministry in which you are going to assist the minister. Honorable member, I therefore discharge you. But before I do so, I would like us to acknowledge the following personalities who are here with us to attend to your verdict. Number one on the list is our own Honorable Yao Osafo Mafu, a senior presidential advisor. I think I'm not too sure if it's still around, but we acknowledge that he was present here to be with you. Then we have Dasibra Janine Kantan, our Otosumi, the second Paramount Chief of Achim Achiasi. Then we have Nana. May I have? We have to be sure that you are here. Oh, the chief. Okay. Nana Dakwa, the second Queen Mother of Achimachiasi. Nana, we are very grateful. Nana Nyante Chua, Queen Mother of Bieni. Nana, I'm very grateful that you are here. Nana Jamana Kente, Jasehine, Anamasi. Nana Jinentri, Jenny, Jina or Jenny, Jina Entry, contingent of Kokobi. Thank you. Nana Owusu Debra, Jasehine of Bieni. Grateful. Honorable Abed Kofi Owusu, Party Chairman, MPP. Thank you. Honorable Richmond Amponsa, DC Achiasi, ACP KK Amoa, Esquire. Yeah. And now a private legal practitioner. Yes, we need to acknowledge that. We have Phyllis Abuaje, wife of the nominee. And then the two pretty daughters, Bosompima Mafu and Mame Mafu. We are very grateful. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And then we also want to acknowledge any other person whose name was not mentioned. All protocols have been observed. And thank you very much for your presence here. Bye.
Very well, Honorable Member. We thank you for attending upon the House to answer questions. Now you're discharged. You hear from us later. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Benewia, a farming community in the Kuapem North municipality, has a population of over 1,000.